Destin put a post up here on Twitter for his podcast that he did today, and he titled or captioned it, "The next Xbox could change gaming forever." Well, almost like clockwork. You had to see two people that are pro PlayStation come out and say a few things. I'll read Nib95s and I'll read this user cut down on gaming. This is somebody who, for some strange reason, found my content from The Division and has all these opinions on it, which I think is quite strange because he'll never say it in the middle of the Division community because you'd be laughed out of the whole thing. Nib says, "I think you guys may be overestimating how many gamers prioritize PC and console usage convergence. Xbox Play Anywhere has been around since 2016, and it's essentially made no difference to Xbox's fortunes. If anything, it may have helped diminish their console market share further." Okay, whatever. So how much will the new handheld or hybridized console with the new UI, in essence, offering an expanded version of the same thing really make, especially if it might be higher priced as a result? So there are a lot of presumptions here. Presumption number one is that you are telling us that somewhere, somehow, we're overestimating how many gamers prioritize PC and console convergence usage, when in reality, there are many more devices that enjoy the Play Anywhere. It could be PC gamer desktop to handheld like myself, who I play Xbox games via their Xbox app, and I want to play Xbox games on my handheld via the Xbox app on my handheld. Play Anywhere allows for me to be able to go ahead and use devices across the board. Once they can access the platform, it shouldn't matter. Again, I want to carry my entire library, so the device cross convergence is also part of the whole thing. So your first presumption is off, thinking that it's only a console to PC kind of a cross compatibility. I don't touch the Xbox console that I own much, but that Rogue Ally X, man, that thing has become one of my more used devices, even over the Steam Deck, because the Steam Deck did not have those capabilities except I installed Windows on there. Then, Nib, you said Xbox Play Anywhere has been around since 2016, and it's essentially made no difference to Xbox's fortunes. If anything, that's your assumption number two. It may have helped diminish their console market share further. That's another assumption that you're making without any data to back up. It's absolutely nonsense, because when you talk to people who play on Xbox, majority of them prefer to buy the Play Anywhere version because the Play Anywhere capabilities transcend beyond just playing on multiple consoles, as you can access those games with Xbox's new, or newly proposed, framework where you can access those games via cloud. That's what the Play Anywhere moniker actually does do. So it's much more than hardware. Let me go ahead and just say this. I think a lot of PlayStation users are very, very attached to interpreting everything from PlayStation's archaic ways. Most of them use more, up-to-date technology in doing other things. For instance, I can almost throw a dart to the wall and say that most people use Apple iPhones, right? Apple iPhones allow for them to be able to access across different devices their content. If they have a MacBook, if they have an iMac, if they have an iPhone, they can access their images, their pictures, they can access documents, they can access music, and any content that they've actually purchased from the Apple Store. And they enjoy these benefits, right? Somewhere, somehow, when it comes to Xbox bringing and offering this, it's a no-brainer that it's definitely the worst thing ever, right? Because these guys can only interpret everything that Xbox does as the worst thing, even though Xbox is taking on and has been taking on these things that are much more pro-consumer. But because PlayStation is not doing it, then, oh my goodness, how much of an impact is it even supposed to make for Xbox? It's not really a big deal. When in reality, guys, we all know that you guys, it's kind of hypocritical if we can ever find you using any of these kinds of ecosystems offered by other companies. You know that, right? And I'm almost certain that in today's modern day and age, many of you who always point to Xbox as doing something that, oh, well, what impact is it going to make? It's probably going to go ahead and da-da-da-da-da. You're using and enjoying those services on other platforms. And Nib95, you still have a Game Pass subscription. So yes, in this case, we can't take these presumptions of yours with any weight because we know that they're bogus. So you said, so how much will the new handheld or hybridized console with the new UI, in essence, offering an expanded version of the same thing, really make? And then you made another presumption, especially if it might be higher priced as a result. We shall see. Higher priced as a result would mean what? Is the Xbox Ally X going to be much more expensive than the Rogue Ally X? It's a presumption that you're making. You don't know anything about the pricing. And why would it be more expensive than it? Asus already knows the price point. Xbox already knows what the value of the device is, but we don't know anything. So you've made three presumptions, and mostly all on biased planes, because these are systems and these are methodologies that are put in place. And for you to think that it's only on the console to PC convergence for this cross-play is something that's making everybody laugh, because, again, we've been warning you guys about your attachment to console sales and hardware sales, not realizing that there's a lot more to this whole thing than meets the eye. To you now, cut down on gaming. You said, y'all need to stop. Xbox hasn't been great since the first console. They need to start making banger games and stop all these other stuff. Xbox will never be great until they start with their games. To that, I have a note for you. I made a video where I've been basically taking stock of what I think PlayStation gamers should focus on. And what I did was I took down a list of all of the games that they recently canceled, and I put and juxtaposed it with a list of the games that Xbox has launched since around Black Ops 6 last year. And this is not the complete list. I just threw this stuff together. Cut down on gaming. Let me go ahead and copy and paste this particular note for you here. Actually, you know what? Let me save the file, and then I'm just going to go ahead and, help you out with this. So I'm going to call it focus on these matters. And I'm going to basically go ahead and, focus on these matters, okay? On these matters. For you to say that Xbox has not released any game all this while and all of this stuff that you're talking about, without PlayStation even being able to give you more than one game, and the cadence being so poor, I don't think you have any ground to be talking about these things. To be fair, let's be fair, okay? Let's be realistic. What ground do you have as as somebody who's commenting, well, I don't have Twitter Blue, so this doesn't even work. I'm not even going to bother. Don't worry. You can just keep, saying this, whatever you're saying. But what grounds do you have in light of all of these canceled games from PlayStation? What ground do you have with the mismanagement so far with all of this and PlayStation's basically inexistent gaming releases in this, last for this year anyways, and even with last year? Yes, Ghost of Yotei is coming, but what would that be able to do to withstand this barrage of games from Xbox? While you sit here and start talking about Xbox needs to make bangers and all this nonsense, you should go try those games for yourself and, maybe stop gaslighting everybody into thinking that somewhere, somehow, you are still living in maybe, I don't know, '08 or whatever. Like, this is crazy that in 2025, Xbox has basically destroyed PlayStation in content delivery. No. It's not even it's not a conversation. It's an entire obliteration. One that I warned PlayStation fans about, that if they did not pay attention, they were going to be the center and the focus of pretty much being unserious about the conversation around gaming. Because you look at Xbox every day and focus on Xbox, and for the most part, you continue to forget that you are somebody who prefers PlayStation. And you have to purposefully, mentally, and forcefully, and even with everything within you, forget about PlayStation. Because the reality with PlayStation right now is insane. I mean, just look at this. Look, where is all the money that PlayStation was spending on all these projects? And this is not even the, money-hatted titles. What has all of this yielded for you, the gamer? Because every time PlayStation is doing all of this, you keep saying PlayStation, y'all keep saying, oh, PlayStation will be fine. They made the most amount of money and blah, blah, blah. What does the most amount of money on PlayStation making have to do with providing you a good value, providing you games? Yet, y'all will focus only on Xbox all day, every day. That's everything that you guys want to do. That's everything that you guys want to pay attention to. Because there is nothing on your end in terms of PlayStation. So you have to go ahead and do this every single time. Fam, this is absolutely weird. This stuff going on right here. This is all weird stuff right here. This right here, it's weird, okay? Let's fire up the lists. You guys were very, very loud and busy when you were posting all those articles about Activision Blizzard, about Xbox's financial whatever, and blah, 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 blah. None of you asked what PlayStation was doing with all of these financial responsibilities put on their hands. And now you have no games. And so all you got to do is come here and play Twitter. When Xbox users are actually, well, and Nib as well, are, able to play a lot of these other games that are available for them. So cut down on gaming. You might want to basically check your PlayStation fanboys that all have Game Pass and ask them what they're doing with it, because some of them are actually leveraging it and playing the games that are on there. Because there's nothing for PlayStation right now. And the way they talked about their one single player game cadence, man, that's really, really going to do a number on their whole reputation. And for those of you who are talking about Xbox, you got to understand that if you are not concerned and, talking about this, and yet you opened your keyboard and said that Xbox is to start making bangers. You said this. They need to start. Man, you guys, sometimes it gets into the realm of funny, man. They need to start. PlayStation's at a deficit of bangers. Do you not understand? This is a deficit when you are canceling projects that, in some cases people were looking forward to. In some cases people, knew about. In some cases had been revealed, and in some cases were already launched. You know what I mean? Like you are at a serious deficit. So for you, the nerve of someone to say that, it's just so strange to me. I gotta tell you, man. I don't know, man. But anyways, whew. Thanks so much for the content, y'all PlayStation guys, man. You guys are a gift. I really gotta say, it's insane. And if we continue down this path, what's gonna eventually happen is you're gonna be living in a world where Microsoft is basically controlling gaming everywhere. They'll be controlling the games that you get on your platform. As much as some of you want to go ahead and celebrate, oh, we're getting their games. Please, if you were playing those games, you wouldn't have enough time to come on Twitter and be making noise or whatever it is. But as much as you want to celebrate, they're going to pretty much be running the market from internally, which is the software side. Because you see, when they all went to the FTC, right, it was a lot of this stuff was based on hardware and, mind share and all that stuff. But in reality, that stuff can change. It can change overnight. You understand, right? I mean, look at the game that's on screen, Elden Ring. Do you know how much that game changed the entire perception of Souls-like overnight? When these guys have been making, Souls games for such a long time, it took this game to pretty much go ahead and tweak everything. Man, if y'all don't think that, this stuff can change really fast, well, keep on keeping on and keep on wasting everybody's time by not saying anything that PlayStation is doing wrong and not doing at this point in time. And you see how it all comes into play. Thanks for watching the video, folks. Peace out.